Avant que le système d'information sur les marchés,
before the NTFP management information system existed, traders traveled from Yokaduma to the most remote villages. Sometimes they brought with them a glass of salt, a piece of cloth, brands of whiskey called fighter, officer, or King Arthur.
On prend ça, on s'en va donner à une femme.
They gave this to the women in the villages. The women did not even have soap in their homes. They did not even have lamp oil. They did not even have enough money to send their children to school. Then the traders would stand there waiting for the women, whether Baka or Bantu, to bring them what products they could find from the forest, like cocoa, ginseng, bush mango. Then they took these products in bags to go to Douala, to go to Kiosi, to sell them to traders from Equatorial Guinea and Gabon at prices of gold. Those poor women in Gribe village, in Masea, or in Gato village, they had nothing. Before, I used to go from village to village to find only 2 or 3 buckets of bush mangoes, because I would choose to go where there were no bush mangoes to be found. I would suffer like that for a week before returning to town. There were too many difficulties in the commercialization of NTFPs. RCDM, like all other radio stations, played a strategic role in the dissemination of information. There were focal points that gave us information about market demand. Other focal points gave us information on the supply available in the villages. What helped me a lot in this system are the community radios in the villages, which were broadcasting information about NTFPs. The radio received the prices of different non-timber forest products. For example, if the price of ginseng in Jum was X francs per kilo, the price of Tondo in Ebolova is Y francs per kilo. We here at the radio broadcasted those prices. The product available is Kutu. The sales unit is the mesh bag of 8 liters. One broadcast every week. The MIS has allowed there to be equity between traders and collectors. The impression was that traders always earned more, but today everyone is informed. Traders and collectors, everyone has an idea of the price. It allowed women to know that such and such an NTFP is sold at such and such a price in such and such a locality. The phone numbers of traders were provided. This allowed collectors and traders to make contact with each other so that sales could be arranged under the best of conditions. As soon as we began to broadcast this information, even our poor mothers knew the value of NTFPs. Today, if you go there to the villages, you go tell them to go and collect ginseng for a piece of cloth. They will no longer go. People have sent their children to school with ginseng. People have built houses with ginseng. Others have even paid the bride price of their sons' wives with ginseng. Before, we knew that especially Ndor and ginseng were marketed, but the dissemination of information through the radio has allowed us to get to know many other products like kutu, ebaye. People came here to find out what these products were. We were provided with pictures of all the NTFPs so that when someone came to ask about them, we showed them the pictures. It helped collectors to start gathering new products which grew here, but the commercial value of which was not known.
Mais ceux-ci ne savaient pas qu'on pouvait également commercialiser ceci. Ça a aussi créé
It also revealed the presence of other products besides bush mango and cola. These posters have helped to achieve a large production. I sold hundreds of bags of products. It was unheard of in the center region. It has enabled us to have large stocks in record time and with little effort. There were listeners who had missed a show. They came directly to the radio to see if we could supply them with information they had missed. There were others who were not listed on the form and who wanted to know how they could be listed, so that listeners could know that they were traders in need of specific NTFPs. We now deal directly with collectors. In the past, it was not possible. We always needed to go to the middlemen, and in the majority of cases, we will record losses. Collective sales helped us to avoid the losses which occurred when we were using the service of middlemen. Some of them made off with our money despite all the precautions we took. MIS allowed us to eliminate this link in the value chain. Nowadays, demand and supply match. With MIS, we also introduced the idea of grading. Like this product you see here, this is first grade. These broadcasts have increased the audience of RCGM. I myself became quite well known, to the point where I was called from time to time for information on the market trends of different NTFPs. This value chain works very well now thanks to MIS. At one point, we had to stop the broadcast. There were listeners who wanted to know what was happening. They pleaded to keep the MIS going. We had to make them understand that MIS was a system, and as in any system, it requires the financial support of all stakeholders, and that just one stakeholder could not carry the burden alone. We think the MIS should continue to function so that our mothers can work their way out of poverty in which they find themselves.